Hey everybody, are you guys able to hear me? Hey everybody, are you guys able to hear me? Okay, wonderful. Oh, I'm so glad. Sorry for the echo. Is it very quiet? Let me see if I can fix this. Oh, I'm so glad. Sorry for the echo. Is that better, guys? Let me know. Now it's okay. Okay, great. Okay, amazing. Can you hear an echo, or am I the only one who hears the echo? Hi. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Okay. So let me see here. I had to come in through my phone because I just moved again, as some of you know. And we were just getting the connection here going. Okay, can you guys hear the music now? Let me know. Hi Lindsay. Hi Emla. Hi Allison. Hi Marvin. Oh, so beautiful to see you guys here. Thank you so much for joining. We're just going to give it a little bit of time just so we know that we have everything functioning here properly. Okay, great. Let me see if I can fix the music a little bit. Okay, there we go. Wonderful. So I was just about to get online, and then they brought this like water pipe next door, and there was so much noise. Hola, Fer. Oh, you're so welcome, Allison. I really wanted to connect with you guys. It's been a while. It wasn't because I didn't want to, just by the way. I have been so busy, so busy with many things, but also last minute, I was invited to do a little exhibition in another place, so I had to move and go there to build up and do all that stuff. So I had to disconnect a couple of days from, from everything, from emails and stuff. So don't worry, guys. I'll get back to every one of you. We're just catching up today and tomorrow. Okay. So I wanted to. Hi, Michael. Thank you so much. I wanted to come in today because these 3 full moons that we already had the first one, which was very important, very powerful. This is the second one, and then the third one in May well, in many traditions, they're considered one of the most important full moons of the year. We also have the Wesak festival in May, where we celebrate the birth of Buddha, etc. Hi, Luna. Oh, so beautiful. I'm glad you're here. So basically what that means for us and for everyone who is, energetically sensitive or who has been going through a lot of transformation. Hi, dear mom. um, it is that we have these three occasions, and now, well, two, um, to actually harness the energy, the powerful energies that come into the planet through the full moon, and use them to flush away what we no longer need, and to build and manifest and bless everything that we want to build, whether that is within ourselves, whether that is a project, something outside, whatever, even like if it's something that you want to manifest, like, like healing in the world, or wherever your desire is from your heart, from your innocence, from your purity, that's where we can focus all of this energy, and it will magnify as we all set the intention to bless all of these projects and to bless the projects of everyone who will be doing this meditation or this ceremony and who is joining now today. So I want to welcome everybody. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you've already been here, I'm so happy to see you again. And so basically what we do in these healing ceremonies is I talk a little bit about the current energies, and I was actually receiving a message earlier that I think would be okay to share with you guys and give you some insight and inspiration, and also to prepare you for today, tomorrow, and the day after, because a lot of things are probably going to shift very fast in your life. I see this as a moment of opportunity, but also realization of where we are ready to let go of shadow, limitations, false beliefs about ourselves more than anything. But as I mentioned in the post, also about relationships and love, and even the way that we relate to other human beings, to our communities, to our families, etc. So astrologically, I know there's probably a lot more going on, but for us and for the community, we will be focusing a little bit on how you can start to integrate this part of yourself, which is the one that is most vulnerable, and the part of you that is most, let's say, the most pure part that you can think about yourself, this divine seed. We always talk about star seeds, and the seed is exactly what we are kind of focusing on today, and how we can start to see this beautiful seed, which is the divine seed of life, in everything and in everyone. Mm-hmm. So I was reflecting earlier on how we, so many times as sensitive beings, as light workers, through our lives, we kind of get to this point. Thank you so much, dear Allison. Thank you. I appreciate that. we get to this point in our lives where, we have to start to create safe boundaries and assert ourselves in a way, because many of us are born to these families where there's a lot of abuse, a lot of trauma, you name it. And this is part of the plan to kind of like wake up faster. It doesn't have to be that way for everybody, but in the majority of cases, and especially um, people who are waking up right now or who have been doing their spiritual work for a while now, let's say 10 years, 8 years, 5 years, 3 years even, and even the newly awakened who are awakening super fast, which is amazing to see, and it's beautiful to see. Um, we can already kind of start to see the evolution and how spirituality is helping humanity so much, and it's helping our own bodies, our minds. It's helping with all the processes that we are going to go through in the light, receiving the light and anchoring the new light that is coming into the planet. And I don't mean this just metaphorically. I mean it, in every sense. Hi, dear Connor. Oh, I'm so happy the whole tribe is here. Well, maybe not the whole. I know many of you guys are in different time zones, but whenever you'll connect, it'll be the perfect time for you to receive this. So there comes a moment, Hi, darling Marissa. So happy to see you guys. So there's this moment, just like a little child, when we're growing up, there comes a moment where he's faced with adversity, right? So we always have two choices. Like, we can either kind of like, be made less perhaps by the situation. I mean, this happens a lot with bullying nowadays and before. I mean, it has always happened, but there's a time when the innocence, the purity of a child kind of faces adversity or is confronted with some type of adversity or shadow. And many times what we do in that moment, like that usually happens when we're about like 7 years old, that defines a lot of who we and how we will face a lot of situations through our lives. So what I'm seeing for this full moon is that, and not just the full moon, but this whole cycle that will start and all the way through the eclipses, all the way through to the Lion's Gate especially, we have a chance to kind of like make peace with the past, make peace with our past choices, with the roads that we have taken so far, with whatever we decided to be, whomever we decided to be. And we have like this grace period, as I like to call them, to start building up again, but from a different energy. No longer going back into the past or into the future to gather information, but really using our spiritual tools, our own spirituality, our own awareness, our own connection to the divine, to ground ourselves in the now, to live here in the now. Because when we do that, we are actually using all of our resources, everything that we have available, we're using it for our evolution in this now moment. So it's like bringing all of the energies that we usually dissipate into millions of directions and just bring them all back into your heart, all back into your divine line, into your channel of light, into your tube of light, or however you see it, and focus it on what's happening now. Hi, dear Anne. So, just to take a moment of reflection, who are you now? Like, you can ask yourself, who am I now in this instant? Am I, the result of everything that happened in my life? How are my relationships? Are my relationships the result of all the relationships that happened through my life? Or am I free right now to decide who and what I am going to be? Right? So let's just take a deep breath in and start to feel into your heart, start to feel into your belly. And start to feel yourself. Who am I now? What kind of relationship do I want to have with myself? And what kind of relationship do I want to have with God, with the world? Hi, Nina. With everyone around me. And of course, I'm not saying that this is easy or that these processes don't take time. They do take time in the physical. But the more we choose to be in the present moment, the less we actually feel the time that we need to get there, because we're always in the time. We're always embodying who and what we want to be and to feel and to experience in the present moment. So we start to build step by step, not worrying too much about the future, not worrying about the past. So bring your resources in. And many times the things that take us out of the moment are the fear of those things that we can't control, right? So feeling like we don't have control, feeling afraid of things that we don't control. And usually these things come from that basic fear of being, vulnerable. Because we probably learned that being vulnerable, through our childhood or through past experiences, sometimes led to a lot of hurt. But not all times, right? And I always compare it to, when a woman is pregnant, there's this vulnerability in her, and there is this like extra care that she needs to take. But at the same time, there is this superpower that develops within her, right? When you see a pregnant woman, you say, "Oh my, she's like a heroine, like a hero," right? They have this glow in their eyes. They have this energy that is so beautiful. And she is much more vulnerable physically, and let's say maybe even emotionally in those moments. Much more tender. Everything is much more vulnerable. But at the same time, she's also this powerhouse, and she's also in her most developed capacity to take whatever pain comes through that vulnerability and through that openness, because she's able to take in life. And life always carries everything with it. It brings us joy, it brings us tears, it brings us good, the bad, it brings everything. But there's this deep surrender, and there's this inner knowing, and there's this increase of intuition that, no matter what, the love will hold whatever needs to happen. Right? Just like after the baby is born, you just see the baby, you forget whatever, everything that you went through. And not just physiologically, but emotionally, in every way. And even spiritually, there's such a big opening. There's a chance for receiving so much spiritual energy because you're so close to source, because you are literally embodying source in its purest essence in your physical body. So there is a bridge between the physical and the non-physical. There is a bridge between the higher dimensions and this dimension and our life on earth. But this is not just true for any, just for pregnant women, just giving this example, but this is true for all of us. We all have that capacity. We all have the capacity to be bridges, to be the vessels of divine energy. And the first thing, for healers and for people who want to help, because I hear that a lot, is also to learn how to take care of yourself first. Learn how to love yourself first. And it's not, the typical explanation like, oh, you have to love yourself because that way you're going to find people that love you. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's way, way more profound than that. It is realizing at the deepest level that every time you hurt yourself in any way, even if it's just an unkind word that you say to yourself, not even out loud, even if it's, perhaps a habit, even if it's a relationship, whatever it is, even the slightest thing that you may do to hurt yourself, in some way, somehow, it's also hurting the all. And just in the same way, every time you say a kind word to yourself, every time you heal yourself, every time you hold yourself in your arms, every time you give yourself a second chance, you're also doing the same for the all, for everybody and for everything. So there is a reason why when we learn how to love ourselves, we are also simultaneously learning how to love everybody and everything. And we're also learning, either through recognition or just through intuition, or maybe we don't even realize it consciously, but we're actually saying, this is my part of the creation. This is a part of creation where I can make a difference, where I can start healing. And this doesn't mean that you have to be healed, right? Completely, in a state of whatever, illumination or bliss or whatever, to start healing, or also to heal others, or to inspire others, or to do what you do. We all have different levels of everything. We're all in different timelines. We're all in different, each soul has a plan. We all have our own unique plan and design of what we need to experience here, what we need to learn, what we need to do in order to grow. And that is different for everybody. But when we treat ourselves and we learn how to treat ourselves with love, with respect, with kindness, when we give ourselves beauty, protection, safety, we are able to do the same for others. And not just in an active way, but we're able to show others energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally, how that looks like. And as you know, we as human beings learn so much by example, by what our senses pick up, by listening, by tasting. We emulate, just like when we're learning languages. There are so many senses that we have where we can pick up these things. And of course, there are the higher senses, which are, not everybody has developed them yet, but they're also there. And they're also transmitting signals and information. So when we pick up in our radar the energy of someone who has kind of gone the path and learn how to love themselves, even if it's a little bit more than you, perhaps, your energy will pick up on that and will say, oh, I can do that too. Like there's more to this field of mine. There's more that I can expand to. Of course, through society and through many things and through programming and all that, we were kind of programmed to compete with each other, to, be the best, do this, do that. You are, and all of that was part of this program of division, right? And always making that differentiation of everything, like I am this, I am that, and that's what the ego does. The ego is always special and it likes to be special and it likes to be seen as different. But the truth is that we are all unique. So when we come into that fundamental spiritual truth, we see that because we are all unique, we are also all the same. And if we go deeper, we're also all one, right? So if I'm one with the other, that means that if I help the other, I'm actually helping myself as well. And if someone else helps me, they're actually helping themselves as well. And that's the way of the light. That's the way of healing. In the light, there is always infinite. There's always an infinite expression. There's always infinite light. There are always infinite resources. When we fall into these belief systems of lack, control, manipulation, etc., it's because a part of us feels that there is not enough for everybody, that there is not enough for me, for you, for that person, that there's lack of something. And many times that is a reflection of what we're feeling inside as human beings. We feel like there is this piece that is missing, or we feel like there's this fundamental lack. And some people try to fill it up with different things, right? Sometimes we become, workaholics. We become addicted to certain things, or we use substances to kind of, balance that feeling or to numb that feeling out, or we use people to kind of like fill that void, fill that space. And sometimes we even use relationships. Some people even use sex, or being intimate with other people just to fill temporarily that void. Some people use money and things. And all these things that I'm mentioning, as you can see, they're all outside. They're all outside of ourselves. And we need something from the outside to fulfill them. Hi, Joanna. Thank you for being here. Angelina and Crystal and Jessie and Teresita. So, when we come into the awareness of the light that we have within, and we start practicing that self-love, we start to practice it. Basically, is what we're saying is, I don't need anything from the outside to fill up that empty space, or that sorrow, or that pain, or that void that I'm feeling inside. What we need to do is to go inside and start to fill that void ourselves. And I know it's not an easy task. It's actually a very, very adventurous one, difficult one, even sometimes. And we go through highs and lows. And sometimes we feel like, oh, I'm healing, I'm feeling better. And then something happens and boom, we're back to square one. But sometimes when that happens, it's basically that we needed to return to that timeline and to that event to properly heal the wound that was created back then. And it usually doesn't last that long. Maybe it can even just be a day or two where you're feeling low, and then we start to heal again. Or we restore our balance, our energetic balance. And the more you do this, what happens is that you start to feel that you stop actually feeling that you have a void. Hi, Maria. Hi, Gita. Thank you guys for being here. So you start to feel complete. All of a sudden, you start to feel like, oh, I'm balanced. I am actually happy today, or I just feel good, or I just feel alive. And I know that for some, this may sound like, oh, well, I feel that all the time. But for others, especially for souls who have gone through very, very hard times, and I know this because I went through also a lot of hard times, and at one point, even a lot of depression, a couple of years there. When you are in that state, it's very hard to even think about feeling alive or feeling happy. And of course, this is something that we forget when we do feel happy. And, just like we forget the pains of labor when the baby is born. And, for the next one, we are like, oh, we forget that. Our body does that too. But so we are always working together with our soul, with the universe, with the teams of light that are with us. whether you see them or not, whether you hear them or not. Um, there's always support in the light. And no matter how low you go, no matter how low you feel, no matter how sad, no matter how alone you feel, always in those moments, there is someone somewhere praying for you, praying for your healing, accompanying you even energetically through space and time. So sometimes we don't feel it. But the more that we develop ourselves in the spiritual path, the more we're able to feel this togetherness and this connection to everything. And this is part of what people, well, not people, but this is part of what all of those programs from the false light, let's say, this was all the programming. It was everything, lack, separation, division. Because when we come together, when we are able to feel the other one, no matter where that person comes from, when we're able to tap into their divine light, into their innocence, even if they are people who maybe haven't had, the nicest of lives, um, we are able to connect to that part. We are able to feel that love. I know that some people sometimes tell me, oh, well, but you're so balanced and you're so like this and that. And I was like, yeah, I went through all the darkness that I needed to go, in order to get here where I'm balanced now. But you should have seen me like 20 years ago, how balanced I was. So, and I'm saying this so that you keep on going on your path, and so that you're not discouraged by whatever shadow you may face, whether outside, whether inside, because that's also part of the light worker. My teacher said, a healer and a student of the spiritual path cannot be anemic. We are not, like just going by. We have to become very, very strong in spirit, in mind, and emotions, in body, because in a way we are a little bit like the warriors of this time, and we are like I don't know why they're showing me this example, but we're kind of like the nurses, during the war, that they would just heal, they wouldn't differentiate. I mean, some would get punished if they would differentiate who they were healing, but many of them had to treat soldiers from, their own countries and soldiers from foreign countries who were prisoners, etc. So I know it's a very like hard example, but that's what they're saying right now. Like, we're not in a place today where we, as healers and as light workers, and actually we have never been, in a place to judge anyone or anything for what they've done or haven't done, or how they live their lives and how they decide to be and what they do. When you are a healer, you become neutral. I mean, of course, when you're healing or when you're doing something like this, when you're channeling, when you are just putting yourself there for the others, when you're serving, and more, if you continue as a healer or as a light worker or just serving in whatever way you serve, you embody this more and more and more, until a point where you just are like a vehicle of that light that is telling you where to go, what to do, and you surrender to it. And there's a process of surrender. And this process can be also very different. It can look very differently for many souls. But we're all, in some degree, we're all accepting more light into our lives right now, because the planet, our own planet, is accepting more light into her. So we're all interconnected, and all that we see, hear, feel, that's part of our creation. And the light that is coming into the planet is helping us heal and bring up to the surface those things that need to heal, those deep wounds. Even the whole earth grid, where there are so many memories of war, of chaos, of sadness, of imprisonment, of everything that we have lived through as humanity. This is a moment where that grid is starting to clear. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm being shown right now. I mean, I have already seen this a little bit earlier, but they're saying to say that now. So it's kind of like this energy comes in, and then we start vibrating at a higher frequency. That means that we start vibrating faster. And with this vibration, it's like if you had a tense rope, or the string of a guitar or whatever. When it vibrates, whatever dust was on it or whatever thing was on it, it will fall off, right? So that's a little bit what we're feeling collectively as a planet through the Earth grid. And we're also receiving a lot of new configurations for the new grids that are activating on Earth, that have been activating also for a long time. But I think we will feel and see this more and more and more as we go, and also more rapidly as time goes on. So for this full moon, I wanted to bring in the example of, through humanity and through the fall, what has happened is that, the whatever abuse happened, abuse of power, abuse of whatever, intelligence, resources, but wherever there was abuse, it was usually because one of the two polarities, let's say, was more powerful or had more resources or was advantaged, right? And usually the people, the energy that got taken advantage of was mostly everything that the feminine energy represents, the divine feminine, because of course we were living through this patriarchal systems. But more than that, if we look at the feminine, it's not just the feminine, but it's, for me, when I see it clairvoyantly, it's the light that is within the feminine. It's the light, it's the innocence. In all of history, the most vulnerable were the ones who were most abused, right? So there is a part of us ingrained in all of us that says, if I'm vulnerable, I will be abused. If I show vulnerability, even some people think if I show kindness, I'm going to be abused. People are going to take advantage of me. And this is something that, for example, my mother used to say to me all the time when I was growing up, when I was a little girl. And she would always tell me, like, oh my God, you're so good. People are going to take advantage of you. Like, you're so innocent, and I'm afraid that people are going to take advantage of you because you're so good or you're so innocent. And I remember hearing this when I was like 7 years old, and I was like, well, what do you want me to do? Like, she was like, no, like you have to toughen up. You have to be like more like me, like speak and speak louder and say what you need to say. And my mom has always had that kind of energy. She's very fiery, and not at all like me. But for me, her energy always felt um, very strong and very aggressive, and I never. Well, first of all, I never took her advice. Maybe I should have at one point. But I had to learn those lessons. I had to learn what it feels like to be taken advantage of, to be bullied, to be, I don't know, made less, or to look like a fool, or for people to think that you are a fool for being nice, or for speaking softly, or for showing vulnerability, or for showing my emotions, and for sharing them openly. And what I learned through that was that every time I did that, I didn't just do it unconsciously, like, oh, I'm just going to go all the way. It was just the way that I always was. And I think many times I was very protected by my guides. But other times I really fell flat on my face in many things. And I learned to still give more. Like, just to give you an example, I had this group of friends in school when I was in, I think it was preschool or elemental school. And I don't know why, like, they didn't like me. I guess I was a little bit different, or I was always like very nice to people, that I just was like that. There were some, there's always someone who was like not nice to anyone. And for some reason they stopped speaking to me. And I remember that I went home and I was crying. I was like, I don't know why they're not speaking to me. And of course my mother was like, oh, well, you should tell them this and this and that. And what I did was, I actually took some toys that we loved at that time, and I got the best ones of those toys that I had. And the next day I gave it to them as a gift. And I told them, thank you. And they were like, what? Like, they were like, why are you giving this to us if we were so bad to you the day before? And I said, well, you know what? I think you probably need them more than I do, or something like that. And from that point, I remember that they never did anything else to me, but I also never talked to them again. So I kind of defined my boundary of, like, this is what I will tolerate, but at the same time, I will give you something, just to show you what it is to be kind. Of course, this in retrospective, this is something that I am now telling you as a story. But so many times in life, as light workers, we are kind of put in those situations where we can either go down a notch and engage in whatever vibration is there, or we can choose to go up a notch, to ascend out of that, and to bring ourselves into a place of peace and balance, and not get pulled into those ranges of duality or fight or other things. And I know this is not always easy. Sometimes there are big triggers, and there are some people that just like to get into a good fight, like Fight Club and all that. But there is a part of us that, when you take a stand and defend your own innocence, your own love, your own kindness, and you become the protector of that, but not in a way that is, just closing yourself up like a shell and not showing your kindness and your love and your light to anybody, but the opposite. You put yourself in such a place, energetically, emotionally, mentally, that whatever happens, you can still see the innocence, you can still see the good in people, even if they treat you badly, or even if they have a completely different view, or even if they're, in the early stages of developing their character, their selves, their emotions. Hi, hi, Craig. Hi, lovely Imperatrice. Thank you for being here. So, how do we find, that balance between being open, um, being vulnerable, you know, and vulnerable even now has like this negative connotation in a way. And, in relationships, when you start to hear what, and a lot through psychology, but also a lot of like through like pop psychology, there's so much about, not being vulnerable or being vulnerable or all of these things. And I have always said, if you stay true to your own light, to your own innocence, if you honor that part of yourself in every decision you make, in every gesture, and everything you say to people, like it's kind of like when you're holding um, like a healing stone, or the ones of you that like, for example, to use rose quartz or whatever. Like imagine that there's always this beautiful golden seed within you, and that you're always able to tap into that and start to act through that, make decisions through that, show or not show whatever you want to show to the world. Um, but after tapping into that, and for me, I decided to do that through my whole life, to stick to that, even though my mother said that and other people told me you like you shouldn't be so innocent, or you shouldn't be so like trusting of people, and you should you know um and especially of course also growing up in Mexico City. But it never went wrong for me. And I didn't just do it unconsciously, like, oh, I'm a risk taker and I'm just like, like I enjoy to skydive and just do this for the adrenaline. No, I did it because that was just the only way that I knew how to do it. And I think for a brief period there, I tried to hide it, to hide how I saw people and how I was with people. And I even tried to toughen up and to be more distant. And I realized that a part of my soul was hurting. I realized that I couldn't be that way with people in general, with everybody. So your soul is always your best teacher and your best advisor. So do what resonates with you. But when you start opening yourself up to service, to healing, and when you step up into your light, just like there is this part where you are responsible of keeping your light safe in your innocence and your love and everything, there's also this other part that gets activated, if it's not already, which is to protect the innocence of others and protect the innocence in all. And this is actually the natural instinct of the divine feminine. And I say divine because, of course, even in the feminine energy, we have the shadow aspect, the dark feminine. And the dark feminine does exactly the opposite, just like the dark masculine does the opposite. But the divine feminine and the divine masculine aspects of ourselves, they are, Jesus and Magdalene, they are the father, the loving father and the loving mother who want to bring into this world the manifestation, the manifestation of their love and their light through the divine child. So sometimes it takes to fall, in the innocence, and this is what we saw, of course, in the crucifixion. I remember when I was very, very little, I was seeing this movie about Jesus, and I was, when they were putting him on the cross and they were walking him with the thorns and all that, I was just, I was in tears, like from the moment one when the movie started, because I went to Catholic, I'm not school, but like a Catholic training for a brief period, and I got pretty traumatized after seeing that movie because part of me kind of remembered that I was there at one point. And I remember thinking, why aren't the people doing anything? There were, of course it was a movie. I have no idea what really happened. We have, some information and all that, but I was so angry, and there was a part of me that was like, why didn't people defend him? The people that were good, like, why didn't they stand up? Even if that meant, and of course there were people who stood up for him, and they were also punished for that exact, etc. But for me, that's like a huge symbolism of awakening, when you see the light not only within yourself but within another, and you're also willing to take a stand and to kind of like safeguard it. And I think this is part of why when people start to meditate and or they come into the spiritual path and they start to become more and more sensitive, that is why many also become vegan or vegetarian, etc., because it's also this instinct that is awakened within us that comes from the divine feminine to never, to not harm life, but the other way around. This instinct of protecting life wakes up in us, and we are very sensitive to anything and anyone in hurt or pain. And most of you, if you're here and you're sensitive beings, you have felt that way all of your life since you were little. And this is also that we have something that we can deal with. We can learn how to deal with. We can learn how to deal with excessive empathy and not recognizing which are your feelings and someone else's feelings. Thank God there are many tools now. I try to teach a lot of these things through, and also include them in my meditations, but also now through everything that I'm teaching. I try to bring it in because this is an important part. So if any one of you struggles with that, always, ask questions. I don't mind explaining anything again, or, when we do the Ask Lana segments. Please know that this is a safe space where you can ask whatever you want to ask, and if I can help you through these live chats and through the healing that we'll do later, then that's amazing. So going back to this story, when we are light workers, maybe first in the beginning we go through hardship, but if you're being honest with yourself and you're being true to your light, the light will always show you the way. And sometimes it will require you to be the fool or the crazy one or the weird one, or the one who is willing to take a punch for the other, or the one who maybe risked being played. And I mean this just to give you also like another example or practical examples. Many times we don't stand up for another, even when we witness something like an injustice. When we feel like our fear of being judged is greater than the love that we are feeling for the person who is already being judged, perhaps, or who's being ostracized, or who's being outcasted. And this is something that we learned as humanity through all the types of enslavement and imprisonment that we lived, and all that genetic and cellular memory that was ingrained in us. So many things that happened were controlled by very few. And many things that happened kind of could have been stopped if the majority would have kind of aligned with the light instead of the fear. So fear is one of the most powerful weapons that there are, not just when it comes to other people and to humanity, but also when it comes to ourselves. But the good news is that the more we engage with the light within ourselves, with that seed, the more we're able to relax, and even, to relax our bodies. Like just now, like how are you sitting down? See how are you sitting down? Are you relaxed? Are you feeling into your womb? Are you breathing deeply? Is your body like clenched up and like closed off from whatever is going on, or are you open? And being open doesn't mean that you're open for everything or anything. It means that you're open to the light. And the light may come in many ways and in many forms and through many different places. But when you decide consciously that you are open to the light, and you're open to share, you're open to witness the light in your life and to be a vessel of that light, you will start to filter out everything that is not light. And it's not like it will just fall out of your life, but it won't. What it means is that you won't have a grip on it, and it won't have a grip on you, and you will be able to see through the darkness, if there is darkness. Many patients and clients have asked me through the years, like, aren't you afraid of me now? Like now that you have seen the dark in me, or now that you have seen the shadow in me now that you found, like all my demons. And I always say, like, those things, what we call the demons, the shadow, the you know the dark aspect of ourselves, they're only like layers of clothing that were just like covering the light that was within you. There's no judgment, and there's no reason to even think about judging something. When we are open to heal, that's when miracles happen. When you're vulnerable enough to ask for help, that's when help just rushes into you. When you're open to sharing your heart, that's when love rushes to you. And when you meet people through love, with love, when you look at them kindly, when you talk to them kindly, when you see the light within them, treat them as such, they will show you their light. Most likely, they will just like morph into whatever aspect of light they were holding, even if it's very obscured at that moment. The other day, I was sitting at a restaurant with a friend, and we were just having breakfast, and he was busy doing stuff with his cell phone. And this very, very old man came into the restaurant, and he came right to our table, and he asked me if he could sit down at our table. And I looked at him and I said, yes, of course. And this was kind of like, not fancy, but like a restaurant that is a little bit, normal restaurant, but it has a nice view, a nice deck, and people are there eating nice food. And this man came in, and he was dressed with his like typical clothes from here, from where I'm at, Oaxaca, and I recognized that he, of course, I'm from here, he's from here, and I also saw that he was very, of course, very tired and very, very old, and he couldn't hear, and he only had one tooth. And he was selling hibiscus flowers. So when I asked him, when I told him to sit down with us at the table, there were people in the surrounding tables that were like, oh my God, like looking, like, what is he doing? Why is he sitting there with them? My friend didn't even notice he was still on his phone. And I asked him if he was thirsty and if he wanted something to drink, and he said he wanted Coke. So I ordered him a Coke. He didn't want water. And people here love Coke. I don't know. We got it also a little bit embedded here with the whole media and marketing and stuff. So I ordered him a Coke, and he was just sitting, and we were looking at each other, and we weren't really speaking. And then he told me very quietly, like, my knee hurts. And I was like, okay. And so I started just giving him healing. I started to heal him there. And he started to receive it. Of course, I talked to his higher self, and I said, okay, what do you need? What do you want? How can I help you? And he showed me his left knee. So then I started working on the knee, and I started working on other things, and I felt a big heartache, pain. I felt that he had lost his wife not too long ago, like 2 years ago. And he gave me a glimpse of his life. And I don't know, I'm not sure what I was able to give to him, but I tried to just give him whatever I was meant to give him through God in that moment. And there were also like foreign people on the other table, and they were just looking at me like, what in the world is she doing? Just I was just like moving my hands, and if you have seen me when I heal, I move my hands a lot. So I was just doing that, and he was just looking at me, or looking at a point behind me just into infinity, and he was just receiving that. And my friend was on his phone. And then I felt the healing was complete, and that was it. And then we parted ways. And of course, I wished him the best, and he thanked me, and we said goodbye. And I mean, this is not like a huge example, but these types of things have happened my whole life, in many different occasions and ways. And even though I have to stop thinking about myself in that moment and what I'm doing and the person that I'm currently with, or whatever normal quote unquote situation I'm in my normal life, when I'm not healing, or in the in my healing open hours, let's say, which now are almost all the time. But even in those moments, these things present to us all the time. And there is so much magic, and there is so much being fulfilled by the light right now, that the more open and giving we are able to remain in a time where everybody's trying to shut down and shut us down, or shut other people down, or shut their emotions down, or not show even how they feel. Even parents who love their children, and they're never able to tell them that they love them, or to show them, or to give them a hug. So when we are able to open ourselves and to give that, and to show and to express and to be that, even though we are the most sensitive and the most vulnerable, quote unquote, you will see that you will start becoming so powerful. You will see that you will be strengthened through your openness and your vulnerability and your kindness. Even if sometimes, you're not received with the same, even if, sometimes you receive perhaps with the opposite. But most of the times, I can guarantee you, if you do it from your heart, it will come back in the same way. And that's how, most of people who know a little bit deeply to the law of karma, they practice that. But it's not just for your own sake and to process your own karma. It's a way to, for me, it's a way to heal the world. And you don't have to be a healer. You don't have to know any tools. You don't have to know the technical details of what's happening. Those small acts and that openness to give love, to give light, to share whatever you have learned, to, even share the teachings that you know. A teacher of mine said, even if you just know one mantra, teach it, share it, spread the word, spread the teachings that have served you, spread the love that has served you, spread your own love. And without expectations, just know that you're just like, when we drop those bottles, or we used to do that, to drop those letters in the ocean, or when we speak a vibration into the water and we have no idea who it's going to reach and the impact that we actually have. We have a huge impact in everything. Your life, no matter how big or small you consider it to be, or yourself, or your worth, or your position, or whatever it is, you as a divine seed have huge potential. You have huge power and wisdom. And you're able to heal, you're able to transmute, you're able to share this with other people. Even if you don't know how, just ask your soul, ask for higher guidance, and then listen. Spend some time in meditation, listening to the answers. Yes, dear Luna. And I don't care. Like, I think I never really cared. How people see, or when you have this calling, it's kind of like, imagine if the guy from the ER would care how he looks like when he's receiving a patient who is in an emergency. Or imagine if a doctor's concerned about how he looks when he's operating someone. It's the same thing for a healer or a light worker. Like, when you're called to service, no matter what you're doing, even if you're eating breakfast, even if you haven't, even if you're here, there, it doesn't matter. When you're called to bring the best out of you and share it. And sometimes that's a word, sometimes that's an advice, sometimes that's silence, sometimes that's something completely different. Sometimes it's just standing by someone who you perhaps don't even know, or if you see that someone drops all their stuff, and you go and help them. After, oh, dear Craig. So nice. Hi, Shay, darling. So, when you go to a concert, or to, to the opera or whatever, like, sometimes, like, people are afraid to clap because they are not really sure, like, if it's done, if it's not done, is the song done, should I clap, should I not clap? I love to use this analogy, and I just thought about it the other day, that when you are a healer and a light worker, you have to be in a place where you don't care being the first one that claps, or the one who stands up and starts clapping, and people are like, what are they doing? Like, there are some things that, of course, we have as societal norms and whatever, and there are some things that we learn and we experience. But, like, if you are loving the music, and if you want to show appreciation, if you want to show how it has moved you to tears or whatever, just don't be afraid to clap. Get up and clap louder. And most of the times, everyone will start a clap. Like, if you clap with enough conviction, everybody will start to clap because they were feeling the same. Our pull to the light is much stronger than our pull to the darkness. Our pull to love is much stronger than our pull to hate. The only thing that brings us into that polarity is when we are scared and afraid. When we're scared, afraid, or angry, we disconnect, temporarily disconnect from source. And this was also one of my points for this full moon. And I wanted to talk about this, this thing that manifests when we are not open enough to express ourselves as well. And that is bottled up emotions, but it's also bottled up emotions, which can be anger, which can actually be sadness, but in motion. So I have seen, and especially through a lot of my masculine patients, that there's always a part, especially through the base chakra and the solar plexus. Of course, solar plexus was in the physical body where we tend to store energetically a lot of the impressions of the lower emotions. So it's the feelings, the emotions that are lower. So let's say, I mean lower in frequency, of course. So let's say anger, pain, hurt, sorrow, envy, guilt, shame. If I haven't said it, I think I said it twice. And also like the energy of like manipulation. So these are all like the lower emotions, right? So sometimes when we are not able to express those emotions and find healthy ways to express the negative emotions, quote unquote, in negative, that we're feeling, they tend to kind of like stay stuck there in the solar plexus. And we start to deplete, no, not deplete, it starts to like jam. It's usually, let's say, like a fan rotating. And these emotions start to come in. And because we're not able to circulate them, or we don't have a proper way of circulating them through the body, through the physical, but also through the energetic channels, they start to build up until they make like a huge kind of like surface and cover the or kind of like invade the chakra itself. So the chakra starts to spin slower because it's oh my god, I can't speak. Sorry guys. It is as if it was filled with dust, let's say, or with particles, or with some heavy matter that it can't spin at the proper rate. So when that happens, the chakra starts to inflate to like become bigger. And this can also happen through the base. Of course, when one chakra is out of balance, it starts to bring imbalance to other chakras, and this brings imbalance to one system and then to another system, etc. So, over time this accumulates, and then we start to see the symptoms in the body. But for me, clairvoyantly, how it looks like is like a lot of like kind of like black, grayish, and red, and kind of like a dirty orange energy at the solar plexus, and then also like red, gray at the base, and sometimes even the navel. And this causes, people, like if the chakras, especially if the solar plexus and the base are imbalanced enough for a longer period of time, this can even cause people to become very violent. And, most of the abusers, like people who physically abuse people, have these kind of disorders in their chakras. Because it's like, even if it's a little thing that comes, like if it's a little anger, that's enough to deplete the whole thing and for it to explode in a way. So their chakras are always overactivated, and this can generate a lot of different behaviors and things um, that are triggered through emotion, but they're also manifested in physical. Okay, so this is just a little bit of pranic healing 101 knowledge. Hi, dear Lulia. Nice to see you, darling. So anyway, there's strong, and I have seen this a lot, especially, but also in the feminine, who have perhaps more of a masculine energetic, that these bottled up emotions tend to make them either aggressive or overly aggressive, or overreact to certain things, or also to explode with people and act very unlike them with people, right? So, and then they feel bad, and then they feel guilty, and they feel ashamed of how they acted, and then the cycle goes on. Okay, so it's important that if you are someone who is in the process of purification, and you're processing, or if you're just going through something where you are processing a lot of emotions, especially negative emotions, or you're dealing with a certain subject and it's causing, anger to rise up, or frustration, or any of these emotions, know that there's a way to like transmute them into positive. Okay, so we're able to circulate them through the body, and sometimes even just through simple breathing exercises. Sometimes it takes a lot of meditation and just purifying through meditation. For this, I recommend the meditation, the Twin Heart meditation by Master Choa Kok Sui. I think I have shared it a couple of times in the community page, but you can look it up on YouTube. There's like a free version that they have. It's also from Pranic Healing. But either you use that or use a meditation that works for you. But it has to be a meditation that purifies your body and that calibrates you to the light within you. And that way your light starts to flush out and make evident everything that is not light. So these things, as they go out, also like in healing, sometimes when we're healing something, we may feel the last bits of that. We may feel like, oh my God, I went back to this one moment. But that's because whatever you're healing is going out of your system. Sometimes we don't have to feel anything at all. It depends on you and how you process energy, how your body processes energy, and how you integrate energy. But we need to wash the system first. We need to create that space in order for the light to come in. If you have a house full of clutter and you want to bring in a beautiful sofa, you bring it in and you probably won't even know where to put it because everything is filled with stuff. And the beauty of the sofa will probably go unnoticed because the whole house is a mess, right? So it's a little bit the same thing with these energies. We need to learn tools and techniques to release the density, to release the shadow, to release the judgment, even to release the judgment of the shadow, the judgment of ourselves, like all of these emotions that we feel, instead of saying, oh my God, I'm a light worker, I shouldn't be feeling this. No, I'm feeling it. Okay, what do we have to do with this? Okay, do I want it? Yes or no? Okay, no, I want to transmute this. Okay, so let's work on bring this out of the system, of healing it and going as deep as we need to go to transcend, transmute, and bring in more light and anchor that light within you. Okay? It's funny. Okay. So let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to tell you. I think that's almost about it. I think this is a time where the roles in a way are reversing, in the sense that before, the people who did the good thing or who stood for the other or who shared the love, they were the ones, or the ones who were healing, even they were the ones who were persecuted and rejected and ostracized and all of those things. And now I think it's part of our path as healers and light workers to assert ourselves in our power and to bring that power back to ourselves, that we are able to be kind, that it is possible to be kind, it is possible to be sensitive, it is possible to be loving, it is more than possible to be giving and expressing love to everything that you see, and at the same time have healthy boundaries, have so much love and respect for yourself, and see yourself as divinity as you do this. And they're just showing me the image of, I think it's Mary Magdalene. It's like the grace of the divine feminine. She has this veil with gold, and it's very shiny. And okay, they're showing me her, like, I think it was Mary Magdalene who did that she washed the feet of Jesus or something like that. And for me, this is also like saying you can be humble and at the same time be incredibly aware of your power, because you are powerful as a divine being, and you are not here to play less than or to act as if you're not powerful. Because the more you reclaim your power and you put it to good use, the more you will be able to change the lives of people, the more you will be able to help heal not just, one person, but many, many people, humanity, the world, nature. So it's recognizing that we all have the consciousness, and we all have the seed to grow as much as we want to grow, as much as we are meant to grow, as much as we decide to grow and to expand. And also to not be afraid of receiving that divine power, because of course that divine power comes with the responsibility, and trust me, you will be tested. um, but it's not a bad test. It's not like they would say, before in the Bible or that, oh my God, and God. It's more like, you know, you receive some tests just to see if you're on the right path, or to see if you're on the right track, or to see how far you've come. It's kind of like a test that you would do upon yourself, or like when people go running and they measure the time, like, oh, today I ran, I don't know, half an hour. And then the other day, oh, I ran 1 hour. So the tests that we receive also in the spiritual path, they are for that exact same reason. They are there to kind of like give you and give the people around you an idea of what you're able to do, your capability, and also how that helps you even set the pace for your own work, for your own light work. It helps you know and measure that you're actually developing. It helps you see that what you see today is so different than what you saw yesterday, and it's so different than what you did or saw 4 years ago. And it lets you also keep track of how much your soul is evolving during this lifetime. And it also allows you to always decide if you are serving the light and the innocence within you, which is the light and the innocence within each and every one of us as human beings, or as sentient beings, because I include plants and animals and everything that there is alive here and breathing. So, wherever you are, know that you have this immense power, and know that when you set yourself to use it for those people, for the innocence, for the love, for all of the beautiful things that are within you and that we can see mirrored without, you will receive the tools, and you will receive the gifts, and you will receive the way. Okay. Does anybody have any questions so far? I have already talked 1 hour. Oh my God. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for commenting. Let me see here the comments a little bit. Oh, hi, Linda. Wie geht's dir? Wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, darling. You're purifying. These have been very sensitive months, I think, especially last month or 2, month and a half, I would say. Yeah, there's a lot coming up, but know that, also as we cry, we allow our body to shift and transmute. We change the energy that we're holding. So it's kind of like an adjustment, a transmutation as well. You're transmuting emotions into water, and this beautiful water just falls away from you. So Craig says, talk about angel numbers real quick. Oh, 606. Yeah. I'm just feeling the energy already coming in. I'm getting very relaxed. Are you guys ready to go into the healing? I think I will do, dear Craig, another live or another video talking about angels. I don't know if it's a very requested a subject, but it's one that's very dear to my heart, and I think it would be nice to talk about, angels and our what is our team, who are our teams of light, and etc. etc. Thank you, Allison, for sharing. Yeah, well, one way, dear Linda, we're going to do a small process today during the healing, but most of it is bringing back all the energy that you put on other people and all the people that you made responsible, whether consciously or unconsciously, for your safety. So that would be bring back the safety from, or the expectation of safety from your parents, from the keepers, from the people who used to take care of you, from maybe even, older brothers, sisters, just taking back the responsibility for your safety and putting it in your channel of light. And holding it there. So anytime you start to feel unsafe or anything, try to say, I'm going to take back all my safety, all the safety that I gave up in that moment to that particular situation, place, thing, throughout all my multidimensionality and beyond. And I'm going to take it back and put it right in my sacred divine line where it belongs. Okay, so that's a way to start. And of course, if there's a lot of trauma and all of that, I would recommend to always, work with an experienced healer if you want to do it through healing, or work with an experienced, whatever, like psychologist, or whatever you need that makes you feel good. But you can even set the intention, like to say, God, I want to work through this. I feel ready to work through this trauma from my early childhood. Please send me the appropriate person, the right person that will help me heal that. And then just remain open to the signs. Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Great. Okay, so let's go into the healing so that I don't go so much over time. Let me just write down here the time so I know when we start healing. Because some people just come for the healing and then I forget where we started. Oh, you're so welcome, Linda. Hi, Alicia. Wow. Been a while since I saw you here. Well, since I was here too. Nice to see you here. Yes, they are. Maybe I'll just share a small story about angels because I was feeling to share this too before. I know for many, they communicate through numbers. For some, they communicate in frequencies and tones. Oh, me too, dear. And some they just communicate right through your intellect, like right through when you have a great idea or you have a very creative idea, or when you're working through your creative self. Angels are always with us because they're like a part of us. They are like, we are angels in a dimension, right? We have like a part of us that is angelic. So the way that they communicate to each and every one of us is different, but at the same time, there are many stories where they use certain resources that are available to them to communicate to us. and one of those resources are numbers, because numbers represent frequencies, patterns, shapes, colors, etc. But there are other ways, and there are very like very 3D ways in which they manifest too. And many times they can come in through animals, they can come in through natural phenomena. For example, seeing rainbows, for some people it's seeing rainbows. Of course, this varies on your own perception of things, as always. Oh, thank you, Lulia. Thank you so much for your donation. But your angels know you more than you know yourself, let's say, right? Because we are in this very slow world, going at a slower speed. So they already see you coming and go, like they already know what's going to happen. Just like a part of you already knows everything about you. So they work with your own imagination, with your own creativity, with your own symbology. We all have our own symbology. We all have our own languages. We all have like even our own intimate languages, even our own codes and phrases and things for how we speak to ourselves, even when no one's listening, or just in our minds. So they will use every resource that they have if they're trying to send a message to you. And believe me, when they do, you will know exactly what it is, and you will feel exactly what you're meant to feel. And most of the times you will feel this incredible unconditional love, but also the sense of peace or the sense of hope. I have felt many times like, just being held from behind, just being held in these like very, very strong arms, or like very I don't know, like sheets, like very soft, this soft embrace. And one of the ways that I always saw one of my angels was, or well, not, I don't know if one, I always saw two, right? Most of the time I saw two, and probably both of them became this like blue bird. And this of course was when I was little, and I would see that blue bird everywhere. And very occasionally, even now, I still see that blue bird. And I even have a blue bird like that, and it's a specific species, and I have that one in as a toy, as a furry animal, or I don't know how you say that in English. But I even made my parents buy me a toy that resembled that bird, because that was my angel, and I wanted to have to keep it everywhere with me. But we also see angels in clouds. Sometimes when you look up at the clouds, and they have this beautiful color or formation. Sometimes we see them literally through animals, like through your dog, your pet, or through events that mean something to you. For example, for me yesterday, after this happened with this man, which I also know that he kind of wasn't from here, if you know what I mean. Of course his body was, but he wasn't. After that happened, I was looking over the ocean, and these birds started to fly, making like this beautiful circle. And they kept flying in a circle for a long time. And it was exactly the time that I had the awareness. I was looking at them, and the moment that I was kind of distracted by someone who called my name, then they just like disappeared into the clouds. Also, when we go into, anesthesia, I mean, some people have said that through using, like drugs or medicine or other types of things, they have had sort of these contact experiences, but I never used um, any of these things. The only thing that I had was anesthesia because I had a couple of surgeries in my life. Oh, that's beautiful, Lulia. See, everyone has like their own. That's why we have like our own animal totem and all of those things. They're just representations of the same. So for me, when I went into anesthesia, when I was, the first time was when I was like 5 years old, and I saw my angels, and I recognized them. And then after that, I saw them also when I wasn't in anesthesia. But I think that was like the first like vivid interaction that I had with them for a longer period of time. And I was just like out of my body because every time that I have had anesthesia, I just immediately leave my body. I mean, I don't know if everybody does that. I'm guessing everybody goes out of their body. But for me, it was immediate. And I would see myself from outside, and I would see myself in the bed being, operated on. And I was scared, and I was like, how do I go back? I felt like I was floating, like in gravity, like without gravity. And I was like, how do I come back into like walking? And I started to get like very nervous. I mean, and I started to scream for my mom. Of course, I was, I don't know in what dimension and anesthesia. And my angels came in and they said, no worries. Everything's going to be all right. We're right here with you. And they said something like very colloquial, like they said something like the big guy sent us and you're going to be fine. He sent us to take care of you and everything's going to be all right. So just sleep, no worries. And I fell asleep in my vision. And then after that, I woke up and I remembered everything. And this happened a couple of times throughout my life, every time I had anesthesia. And then also once very, very strongly during a dream. And they were the same two guys that I always saw. There were also other guys more around, but the ones that I always talk to are mainly two. And they have always looked like masculine figures to me. I don't know why. Um, but of course, also the form and the shape they take, they present themselves. Like I always say, they always choose the way that is more lovely to you, the way that is more even appealing to you, the way that it's not going to scare you in any way, right? So, for example, for me as a little kid, I had a super beautiful relationship to my father. So, I don't know, like I guess that's why they showed kind of like in a masculine form, shape, and also a little bit in the image of Jesus because I really love Jesus. I don't know, like since I was very, very young, uh, there was like this love and inherent love that I felt. So they presented themselves like that. Yes, I know. Um, so anyway, that's a little bit some of the stories. There are many other and much more intricate, but I wanted to share that in case that resonates with anyone, and also for you to look out for it. And if you want to, communicate more with them, communicate more, know that you're communicating more with a part within you. So the more you go within yourself, the more you meditate, the more you open up your sensory channels, the more you open up your sensitivity, the more you will feel this, the more you will see this. So this is the other part of what we were saying, right? If we become hardened and closed off and afraid, we're probably going to very soon start to become numb and start to need more and more things in our lives in order to get us out of that state of numbness. But if, in the contrary, we remain open and we make use of our sensitivity and we train in our sensitivity and we learn how to harness it, just like the energy of the full moon. If you want to go crazy in a full moon, you can go crazy. If you want to use the full moon to bless greatly your projects, you can do it. Like, everything that we have is always a resource, it's always energy. So we can decide, as divine beings that we are, as human beings that we are, we can give the intention to things, and we can become aware, we can become powerful, we can empower ourselves through the experiences that we have, or we can do the opposite. We can go crazy on the full moon and not sleep and be totally, out of whack, etc., and be aggressive or whatever. So it depends, all of everything depends on how we are integrating, processing, and how and what we're choosing every day. And if you don't have the tools yet, you can get them and you can get there. Okay, and I'm always here to help you and to serve you. And I'm glad it resonates, dear Alex. And Michael, thank you for being here. And I would love to hear your stories. Like, if you guys want to share some of your stories with your angels, or with the way that you communicate to the other side, please share them in the comments below, or on my Instagram with me, whatever you want. That's beautiful, Craig. Okay. Well, let's go into healing, shall we? I just wanted to say before we go, because we'll probably come back a little bit spaced out. Everyone who wrote me about Brave, I will answer today and tomorrow. Okay. I'm still receiving applications. We have a couple of dates already, and meetings and everything. But anyone who wants to apply for Brave, you still have the opportunity to do so. The sooner you write to me, the sooner I'll send you your application. The sooner you do your application, the sooner we have our session together. And I'm very, very excited. Very excited to be talking to you guys and to start this new cycle, and to just be there for you in your path and see you discovering your greatness, which was the honor and the pleasure and the honor that everyone in the first Brave cycle gave to me. For me, it was a complete gift to be able to be your witness and the witness of your light, and how you became empowered, took your power back, and how you grew, and how you just became more of who you already were. So I love you guys. And I love all of you guys, and everyone who's here. Thank you so much for being here, for listening. Okay. Okay. So, oh, thank you so much, Carrie. Thank you. I love you too. Oh, and the other news that I had, I forgot. Oh, we have so much going on. I will be having a new website, launching a new website soon, and I'm very excited. We have been working so hard on it, and hopefully it will have a lot of more things and resources and material for you guys to, have access to, and hopefully it will also be easier to navigate. And I'm very excited to share that. It's coming soon. I think in a couple of weeks we will be ready. I will let you know. But yeah, we're doing that too. So anyway, let's go into the healing now, okay? You can all, if you want, you can lay down, or you can just sit comfortably. And you can also have water, please. Oh, thank you, dear Linda. Thank you so much. All the blessings for you. I hope all your healing goes well. I'm also just feeling the energies of everybody in the group already, so we're going now into each and everyone's healing. Please drink water if you haven't drank already. Okay. Hai yang ai nai kuyang mai shawa le ta hamo ri urao shao ai te ni urian hari mo kuyata ura shao hale. We're starting to open through the throat. We're starting to clear the throat. You can close your eyes, breathe in deeply. We're starting to clear also through the heart. I'm seeing the red and the blue coming in. Now we're clearing out of the feminine and the masculine sides. Anything that was blocking us from expressing our truth, from expressing ourselves, from expressing our innocence, from being who we are truly, greatly, gratefully. Anytime we heard a voice say, "You're not meant to do this," or anytime that we had any objection as to being who we divinely are, starting to release the trauma, the fear, the blockage of that. Starting to release the interference. Releasing, seeing for some of you, releasing any diseases from throat. They all have alien audio shout to auditum aine wale ariat aurmuru shu shura meta utura maita maite yakaita laite shedaria peria hova akade nadi kumari. There's a lot of starseed energy and every one of you were connecting. So just speaking through a little bit of light language to your soul, to activate this cleansing process. And they're activating like a spiral, cooling spiral that starts to kind of like absorb all the these programs, these energies that are no longer serving you through your whole vessel, through your whole body, through the central channels. And then start going down, 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 down into the ground, into Mother Earth. And that's where they are brought back, they are transmuted and turned into unconditional love. You can just set the intention to receive everything and all that you're meant to receive today in this present moment, and the appropriate vibration, tone, amount, and setting the intention for you to release all that you're ready to release today in the appropriate amount and the appropriate way, in a way that is divinely guided for you and your highest self, your highest destiny. We're starting to clear the temples, the ears, releasing a lot of AI through the ears. A lot of tears, a lot of unworthiness, and all of the tears that you perhaps weren't able to cry, asking God to turn them into gold. And they're starting to activate. I don't know if they're saying something like they're releasing this carbon structured. We're going into the DNA. And also in the center of the brain. Starting to reweave and to release any trauma between the right and the left hemisphere. Just allow this start to flow, release out of the body. We're calling in all of your angels, your guides, your ascended masters. And we're bringing in a beautiful temple for each and every one of you. They look like these beautiful white birds that are carrying these. They look like pyramids, and they have this aquamarine energy in the center, and they're just placing it upon each and every one of you who want to receive. This is just a healing temple of protection. And you're also accessing through this all of the knowledge through the inner earth and there's your inner realms. Now we're starting to see these beautiful codes flow through your central channel, through your tube of light. And they're spiraling and taking their rightful place within your energetic self, your constitution. Starting to unlock for some of you the places that need to be unlocked to receive more of your gifts, your qualities, your freedom of expression, reconstitution of your being, of your divine self, repairing through your DNA, repairing through your structure, repairing through your crystalline structure, repairing through your light body. And I'm feeling a lot of pressure through the jaw, and a lot of pain coming out of the throat, out of the mind. And I'm also feeling this fire coming up through the heart. And this is, of course, activating feminine and masculine templates. And there is this call coming through the divine child. This is a golden flame to bring in assistance and reconciliation. They're saying to all matters of the heart, but also to all matters of your being. So whatever you feel is not in harmony, is not in accordance to who you are right now in your life, in yourself, within yourself. So just note that, and to ask for the release of these energies, any restriction, limiting beliefs, thoughts, vibrations, energies, codes, information, even energetics that are not yours, thought forms. You may feel this like wave of energy surging through your body, cleansing out anything that is not yours, that is not uniquely yours, that is not of your nature. I'm saying dissolving the barrier of fear, dissolving these lines of division, of separation, starting to see all of these lines, even through when we see the world, when we see the delineation of the countries, starting to see them as joining points, starting to see them as union. They're placing like beautiful golden lights all around all of these lines, and then all through all meridians, and through also the ones that go in the horizontal way, through the grids of earth, and bring in the energy of the rose, the golden and the rose pink tone. We're connecting to the whales, the energy of the grandmothers and the mother. Bring in healing and restoration to the ocean, to the land, to the plants, to the animals. Bring restoration to the heart of men and women, of all men and women, of all of humanity. And bring in this violet ray, bring restoration to the heart of every star seed that is upon earth at this time. We hail, we Tauri Kai and They're just bringing a lot of healing and emotional release through the heart. Releasing all of the codes and templates of war, all of the codes and templates of strife, of always assuming the worst in people, assuming the worst in things. Excuse me. This was a lot brought in through the grays, releasing this, releasing all of these gray colors from out of the earth. Purifying. We can start to see your body being purified in a beautiful violet light, blue and white. And we can see the whole earth being purified in a light blue and a light pink energy. And then a very deep violet light. And we're calling upon all the angels, the guides, the ascended masters and teachers, the spiritual teachers are here with us today to help us bless Mother Earth, to help us harness this energy that is available to the world today, and to put it to good use, to use it for healing, for divine peace, divine love, divine freedom, divine expression of emotions, divine safety, divine protection. Allowing the earth to be a place where it is safe to express vulnerability, where it is safe to be a woman, a child, an animal, from the smallest to the greatest, where the consciousness continues to grow, and as we continue to grow and evolve, we take the responsibility, if we so wish to, of being the big brothers and big sisters of all the other fellow sentient beings on this planet. Recognizing that there is no division between worlds, that we are here and we are beyond, that we are in the sky, we are in the stars, and at the same time we're here, and this is a gift, they're saying. So starting to receive this gift, placing it in your heart, receiving your unique gift, receiving that which you need to receive right now most, in order for your life to be filled with love, kindness, healing, compassion, sensitivity, divine guidance, divine protection, divine healing. Starting to flush out and releasing through our emotions, through the systems of your body, any old stuck emotions, any unforgiveness, any pain, any grudges, any lack of forgiveness, lack of self-forgiveness, and anything that is kind of cluttering, is getting in the way of you receiving your highest divine love, your highest divine expression of who you are, seeing and being the witness of this, not just through you, but through everything that is mirrored back to you in your world through your perspective. So activating through the eyes. Healing, clearing the eyes, clearing the mind, offering forgiveness. Hehe itala shewa. If you want to be forgiven, hehe itare kuma. Offering love, amate. Offering kindness, nihewa ita mashitawa. Offering healing, miyakau tumaha theure witaure. Offering abundance, niheria kalia shawa. Giving abundantly to others. Ninana miretana wivariatana tariana tutoria wada turuma tariawa irishawa. We're connecting to the energy of the full moon now. We see this beautiful moon starting to pour down all her blessings, all the blessings, all these beautiful silver codes, encoded information, geometry, frequencies, especially into the mind, into the throat, into your lungs, increasing your capacity to receive and to give. Into your hands, increasing your capacity to receive through the physical. Bringing gold into the heart, increasing your capacity to receive love. Breathing it in and increasing your capacity to give love. Bring balance. Bring healing to your divine feminine and divine masculine through Shiva and Shakti, activating the divine merge, becoming the one flame through the gold, through the divine child, at the belly button, at the seat of the soul. And there's this beautiful lotus flower forming in the womb, a white lotus. Just keeping the flame, taking care of the flame, protecting the flame. And we're starting to be placed in this garden where there are a lot of white lotuses and white flowers everywhere. We see green and white. And just start to receive from Mother Earth as if she was protecting you. Giving you a lot of safety, a lot of providing you with all the nutrients you need, and providing you this magnetic energy. Very, very polarized magnetic energy, which is very, it's a grounding, it's it feels like the comfort, the safety of the womb, of gravity, of knowing that you're here and not anywhere else, that you're right here, right now. You're embraced by the mother. You're cherished. And you're also being nurtured for all the fruits that are going to come. You're also blossoming. You're also seeing the fruits grow. And you see the fruits, they land on the ground, and then they create the seeds, and they go back into the ground. So they're showing this rebirth cycle that we're all in. And in that, you can always choose what you take with you, what you let go of. So just allowing this process to occur naturally through your body, your mind, your heart, your soul, your field. Releasing any anxiety and stress, false belief systems, interference. For some, also any addictions, coping mechanisms, self-sabotage, and betrayal. They're asking us to come back into the earth renewed. All of the grandmothers and the grandfathers, the shaman within you, the medicine woman within you. They're calling us and they're calling the star seeds, the angelic beings, to come back into the earth, to reconcile with the earth, with being incarnated on earth, and with fulfilling the mission, with completing mission, understanding mission, intuiting. Cleansing through the unconscious mind, through your dreams, allowing the energy of this full moon to cleanse your subconscious mind, to release all of the past that you no longer need, and all of the future visions that were causing you any fear or stress or pain. Anything that is not of the light, that is not organic. We're receiving these feathers. We're all sitting around a beautiful fire in these stones. And it is as if we are recognizing each other as one nation, as one tribe, as one as one. But all from it's like one, but also recognizing the uniqueness and diversity of all. So we're all gathering around this sacred fire. And now I want you to think about what you would like to manifest, what you would like to see in the earth, what you would like to experience in your life, your everyday life, what you would like to wish for humanity, for the world, for the planet, for the animals, for a particular loved one. If there's anyone who needs or wants to bring in healing for a particular loved one, please place them. We're going to set a beautiful violet circle up high, and then we see the fire down. So anything that comes out that needs to be transmuted will land on the fire. And up there we have this beautiful violet circle, and we can place anyone, anything that you wish to heal, that you wish to manifest. We're going to place them there as our projection. And we start to recognize the projections, all the healing of the others. We see it as these beautiful seeds of light that hold your intentions for this healing, with the help of the moon, with the help of the higher beings, with the help of your guides, teams, and angels, with the help of your family lineages, and your starseed lineages, through the reconciliation of all through God. So starting to breathe in deeply. And we're going to bless them 3 times. I'm going to do an Om. You can chant Om with me. You can lift your hands up in a blessing position. If you have done pranic healing, you know how this goes. If not, just lift your hands up, your palms facing outward. Or just see the person that you wish to bless, the people, the situation, the project, whatever you want to manifest, see it in front of you. And as we do the Om, we're going to send all this energy that is coming in through the planet, through God, through our channel of light, through our crown, into our heart and into our hands, and from our hands it projects outwardly into the earth, into the person, the projects that we have in this beautiful circle. So as one, through the circle of light, through the protection of the I Am, through the divine guidance of all the divine teachers, we ask for all of the healing, the blessings, the love, the kindness, the compassion, and all the highest energies to be available to us for the greater good of humanity, of the planet, of ourselves, our lives, and for the fulfillment of our divine destiny on this planet, in this lifetime, and all. Taking a deep breath in. Oh. One more time, taking a deep breath in. One more time. Seeing your projects, people you want to bless. You can even put yourself in the circle to be blessed. Now we ask God to bless every person, every being, every corner of the earth, every part of the earth, everyone and anyone who needs healing, who needs hope, who needs faith, who needs a helping hand, anyone who needs a word of kindness, anyone who needs love, anyone who needs company, anyone who is in pain, anyone who is suffering, anyone who is in any kind of lack, anyone who has lost their freedom, anyone who is sick or has any type of disease or illness or condition, anyone who is poor, who has anyone who may not have enough to eat. We ask through God, through our divine selves, that all these people be blessed with everything they need, with all the light, all the hope, all the love, all the faith, all the resources, all of the things that they need to heal, to be restored, to feel love, to feel hope, faith, divinity, spirituality, right action, commitment. And they're just cleansing through the heart any emotions that may have come up. They're saying your heart is restored. May the heart of everyone be restored in the light, in the love, in safety, in freedom to be exactly who you are. Know that you are loved, you're respected, you're honored, and you're blessed. We're just going to seal everything everyone. Pouring this beautiful golden energy and light blue energy over the world, over your field, continuing to balance and stabilize the energies, to reset anything that needs to be reset, and to continue to open yourself up to more love and the appropriate rate and proportion for yourself, for the balance, for the harmony of your being, for the integration of these higher energies. We thank you for being a channel of light, for serving humanity. And we thank you for your love. May you all be blessed. It is done, it is done. And so it is. So just breathing in, guys, very slowly. If you're tired, you want to go to bed, or you fell asleep, it's perfectly fine. If you're feeling any excess energy, just imagine how this beautiful ray of light flows through your column, your spinal column, and goes all the way into Mother Earth, releasing anything that needs to be released as long as it's necessary in the coming days, weeks, and months. And then all of the light that needs to come in through your crown, through your spiritual channel, that it continues to flow in a graceful, beautiful, and loving way for you. You're so welcome, Maria. Thank you. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Uli. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Please drink lots of water. If you can bathe in salt water tomorrow, or even the day after, just to wait a little bit, you can do so. It will help to continue to flush out. Or even sinking your feet in salt water 20 minutes a day helps a lot if you feel like you're releasing a lot of debris or a lot of energy. And please do something beautiful and loving for you. Okay? You deserve it. Oh, thank you, Alicia. I love those thingies. I don't know what they are. Thank you so much. I love you so much, and I've missed you. Sending many blessings. Thank you, Renu. Thank you all. You rock too, all of you guys. You rock. Thank you for your work. And I will be returning to the usual schedule of full moon healings every full moon. So we will continue from now on, okay? My darlings, I promise I won't leave you so long. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Many, many blessings. And yes, Brave is there. Anyone who feels called, you know, we're here. And everything will be in divine timing. Okay? Take care of yourselves, guys, and take it easy today, tomorrow, during the full moon. Okay, I hope this supports you, and you can do this meditation again if you feel like you need to do it again, as long as you want. Okay. Thank you, Alicia. Yes, thank you for your likes, your subscribes. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. I hope I can bring a lot of more things in the coming months for you and a couple of surprises there. Okay. Sleep tight, everybody. Many, many blessings. I'll see you soon. And drink water. Bye bye.